Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka Lauren33. I want to welcome you guys back here tonight to the Legit Shoot podcast, here with your WWE Survivor Series 2020 full show review and results. I want to thank you guys so very much for joining me tonight on your Sunday night. And yes, we're going to talk about Survivor Series and what it was. And how should I start this off? Look, there was some really great matches on Survivor Series, right? I'm going to come out and say it. There was some great matches on this card. Sasha Banks versus Asuka, right? Sasha Banks for the third time in less than a month putting out a potential match of the year candidate. All right, we had Sasha versus Bayley at Hell in a Cell, then Sasha versus Bayley a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, and now tonight Sasha Banks versus Asuka. All right, the third banger of a match Sasha's put out in less than a month. Absolutely incredible. We had the New Day versus the Street Profits, was great, and it pisses me off because WWE doesn't know how to put value into their tag team division, but yet you have the New Day and the Street Profits go out and do that, and we'll discuss that. Roman Reigns versus Drew Mcintyre, match of the year candidate as well. We are just about 1 month away till the end of 2020 and what has been the craziest year in history. But also, we will be doing a top 10 of, the best matches of WWE this year. And, I know there's going to be a lot of Sasha matches in there. There'll be a couple of Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns matches, but this might be the best male match that we've seen in WWE this year. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre tonight was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. That's something you would see at a WrestleMania main event. Imagine how, and you think about it, those three matches I just said, imagine how great those matches, or how much better those matches would have been if they had live fans inside the arena. Absolutely crazy. It would have been crazy. And we're going to talk about that. Also, we had the Undertaker's Farewell. There was a lot of, discussion going into what were we going to see with this farewell? Would the Undertaker truly be retiring? Could they be setting up something with the Undertaker and, maybe the Fiend at WrestleMania? Because I was part of the majority here. A lot of people, were like, there's no way. They would not have the Undertaker retire in front of no live crowd. No crowd. And I thought, they were going to wait till we got back to having a live audience. And that finally being the end of The Undertaker. But it does look like tonight was the final appearance of The Undertaker. And, I'm going to be honest, it didn't get me too emotional. I did have some moments where I kind of, almost teared up just because I love The Undertaker. He's one of my favorites of all time. And, I've watched a good part of his career. I haven't watched all 30 years. I wasn't even alive when The Undertaker started wrestling. But I've followed his career. I've seen his best matches. And, it's sad that he's gone. And, I'm not going to lie. At WrestleMania 33, a couple years back when they were in Orlando, and it was Undertaker versus Roman Reigns, I cried that night when I saw The Undertaker wrap his, fold up his clothes and then kiss Michelle McCool, his wife, on camera, breaking character, and then he did the fist going into the WrestleMania ramp. I cried. That was a emotional moment for me, and I thought that should have been the end for The Undertaker, but he kept wrestling, and this felt like I don't know how to put it. Really, this, they had the graphics, they had all the legends out there, they had all this stuff, and to me, it was great. The visuals were amazing. It's still, even after Survivor Series tonight, it's still, I still don't really think that he's gone. It's hard for me to say that he's actually gone. It really boggles my mind. But we're going to discuss it. Man, The Undertaker, if this is the end, he's one of the all-time greats, right? Definitely he'll be in the Hall of Fame when things get back to normal. But we'll talk about that. Other than those four things, there was nothing else good on the show. Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn was terrible, right? It was a waste of time. The men's Survivor Series match was absolutely dreadful. I have no idea what the logic was there with that match. You had those talented individuals, and then that's what you do. And absolutely the worst thing on the show tonight. What the fuck were you doing with that Women's Survivor Series match? First of all, you had Bayley eliminated first, right? And then you had the chance to make Bianca Belair look like a star. If you guys remember, back a couple months ago, before Sasha and Bayley broke up, remember how Sasha and Bayley made Shayna Baszler look like a star? Right? When Shayna Baszler put Sasha and Bayley in that double submission and basically beat them by herself, right? They had a chance to do something similar to that with Bianca Belair tonight. And we all know Bianca Belair will most likely be the person to take the SmackDown Women's title off of Sasha Banks. Could be at WrestleMania. I think WWE should wait till SummerSlam. But right now, it would probably be smart to bet that Bianca will be taking that title from Sasha at WrestleMania. But you had a chance to make Bianca Belair look like a star tonight. And instead, you fucked it up. You fucked it up with that ridiculous ending with the double countdown, leaving Lana, someone that nobody believes in. No one gives a crap about. You did that just to have Lana as the sole survivor who didn't do anything in the match. Her job was to sit on the steel ring steps, look like a crybaby bitch, and then she gets to be the sole survivor, and she's out here celebrating like she just won a world title at WrestleMania. Are you kidding me right now? I really don't understand what goes in, what's with the logic gaps. I really don't understand what WWE's even thinking about when they go make these decisions. I don't. It was so simple. A child could book it. You had the chance to make Bianca Belair look like a star, and you messed it up. And if you want me to give Survivor Series a pass, it was an okay show. It wasn't terrible. But the thing about it is, and I've been complaining about it, if you guys have been listening to the podcast, I've been complaining about it for weeks. There is no stakes with Survivor Series. That's what everybody's saying. I will go back and watch, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre because it was that good. I will go back and watch Sasha Banks versus Asuka because it was that damn good. Right? I'll probably go back and watch the New Day versus the Street Profits because it was really good. But outside of that, as a pay-per-view, there is no point to this. In years past, Survivor Series felt like a big pay-per-view. There was no stakes to Survivors this year. No stakes. And the thing about it is, I don't care that we're in a pandemic. You guys are the ones that are choosing to put out content. WWE is the ones that are choosing to put out pay-per-views. Right? There's some people that don't have the network that have to buy the pay-per-view on cable. They have to spend $60 to $70 to watch this on pay-per-view on their TV. It's ridiculous. There is no stakes. I gave you guys simple solutions. The easy way to make Survivor Series look important. The biggest way is, all right, you could do something that the winners of the Survivor Series matches, they can get title shots in the next 2 months. Right? The sole survivors get priority slots in the Royal Rumble because the Royal Rumble is coming up in 2 months. They're guaranteed to have a spot between 25 and 30, giving them better odds and better chances to have an advantage over the competition and actually win the Royal Rumble. Things like that. If you had just done that, it would have been an easy way. But instead, WWE wants to do this nonsense. And I'm sitting here mind boggled. Really? That's what you decided to do? Come on. Man, but I want to give this a thumbs up show. It's just that the stakes. If this was any other pay-per-view that, not called Survivor Series, I would have gave this a thumbs up. But because it's Survivor Series and I know what Survivor Series is supposed to mean, I can't give this a thumbs up. I can't. If this was an Extreme Rules or a Payback or a TLC and we got the matches that we got tonight on that show, this is a thumbs up pay-per-view easily. But the thing about it is when you have the Survivor Series matches that don't mean shit, you have it marketed as the best of the best, right? And it doesn't mean anything in the long run. Why should I care? Right? It's the outcome of these matches. They're not going to mean anything. When we watch Raw and SmackDown tomorrow, right? We're not going to really be talking about Survivor Series that much because there was no new champions. There was no there weren't new storylines, new feuds coming out of this. It was just a bunch of random matches put together, marketed as Raw going up against SmackDown in the best of the best, and that was that. It was that. And some of the decision making tonight wasn't even that good. If any other pay-per-view, I would probably give this a thumbs up. But since it's Survivor Series, and it's supposed to be one of the big 5 pay-per-views, up there with the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Money in the Bank, I can't give this a thumbs up. I cannot give this a thumbs up. I would not be doing my job as a podcaster. I would not be doing my job as an educator in this community if I gave this a thumbs up. Because it wasn't. If this was any other show, this would be a thumbs up. But no, I can't give this a thumbs up. And if for other people out there that might give it a thumbs up, I'm sorry. They're messed in the head. They really are. All right, but either way, we're going to talk about it like we always do. Talk about it right here on the podcast. Thank you guys so very much for joining me, man. For those of you guys that were expecting a watch along, I apologize. I was watching Survivor Series on my Discord server, right? And I do have some announcements to be made before we get into the podcast. We are nearing 6,000 subscribers. I want to thank every one of you guys for subscribing, right? No matter if you guys are watching this and you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. I'm one of the best podcasters in the community, all right? And I'm not being, cocky. I'm just being honest. But we're about to hit 6,000 subscribers, and I have some big announcements coming in. We're going to be having our merch shop. I'm working on merch right now. Merch for my anime fans and merch for my WWE fans, the podcast. So we will have exclusive podcast merch, right, on my shop. All right, it's most I don't want to get into the details. I easily could, but we'll have mostly t-shirts and hoodies, right? Probably some face masks as well. So definitely when that does release, I will get you guys that info. I also have a Patreon that's going to be opening up in the next couple weeks, and I'll be posting exclusive content on there. So I'll have reactions that, because sometimes it's hard to have reactions on YouTube because you guys know the way YouTube works. Also, I'll be having bonus podcasts, so bonus episodes of the Legit Shoot podcast on there, but they're gonna be themed, right? So some of those podcasts are gonna be just me talking about other matches in WWE history, not really focused on the current day product, just giving an insight on some of the other things in the past, talk about the Attitude Era, cool things like that. So make sure you guys watch out for that. There will be levels to the Patreon. So it won't. I'm not gonna be outlandish, but there will be some cool perks for each tier. One tier though that will cost you guys some money is I will have a tier that if you guys choose to to donate to that on the Patreon, right? If you guys become a Patreon person, you guys will have the opportunity to be on a video with me, right here on the channel. You guys will have a chance to be on a podcast or a video, something like that. The details of the video, the podcast, I will be determining. But definitely for some of you guys who are very loyal and you guys support me and you guys want to be on the podcast with me, definitely that will be a part of it. So there's going to be some really cool perks. All right. I will have all the details. Once everything's all set up, I'm going to make a separate video. But, since it's Survivor Series tonight and most of you guys are going to be listening to this, I'm just letting you guys know. So Patreon, right? Some really cool perks, including the chance to be on the channel with me, right? Merch, Discord, lots of cool things coming. So definitely, I'll have more details on that when it comes. Thank you to everyone that live tweeted with me tonight. If you guys want to live tweet with me, if you guys just want to talk about anime or wrestling, my social medias are in the description down below. Make sure to go check those out. All right. Thank you guys for the love and support, like always, guys. Just let you guys know, for new viewers, we will be live right back here tomorrow night with the Monday Night Raw review right back here on the Legit Shoot podcast like we do every single week. And we do SmackDown on the weekends. I don't do SmackDown reviews on Friday nights. I usually do them on Saturdays. I did depending when you guys are watching this, I did the SmackDown review on my Survivor Series preview and prediction show that I did Saturday Night Live. So that's usually the way things go. But yeah, now that we got most of those announcements out of the way, let's get into Survivor Series tonight. Let's get into the show. So this show went about 3.5 hours, mainly because the Undertaker Farewell was about 30 minutes. But let's talk about it. So I don't really want to talk about the Battle Royal. There was a Battle Royal on the pre-show. And the one thing that I would say about this Battle Royal, it's way too similar to who... I would say this Battle Royal basically represented Survivor Series, the Survivor Series build this year. Doesn't matter. You shouldn't care. They had a Survivor Series Battle Royal on the pre-show, and basically the whole thing that happened here was if you weren't on any of the Survivor Series matches, if you didn't have a champion versus champion match tonight, you were in this Battle Royal. On SmackDown, you had Dolph Ziggler, Murphy, you had Chad Gable, Dominic, Rey Mysterio, Apollo Crews, Shinsuke Nakamura, Robert Roode, and I'm forgetting the Luchador guy, the guy from Lucha House Party. Who cares? Kalisto, that's his name. On Raw, you had Ricochet, Morrison, Miz, Humberto Carrillo, Angel Garza, Benjamin Alexander, Murphy, not Murphy, what's his name? Jeff Hardy, and Elias, right? And the only thing I'll really say here is this is basically, I guess you could say, the catering squad or the jobbers of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. And it sucks because you look at this Battle Royal, there's so much talent. Almost all of these names should be in the mid-card division fighting for United States and IC titles. Every single person here should be fighting for a mid-card title. Everybody. And the one thing I would say here, seeing guys like Shinsuke Nakamura and Rey Mysterio on a pre-show, it just shows how bad the WWE product is these days and how out of touch Vince is. Guys like Rey Mysterio and Shinsuke Nakamura, Buddy Murphy, right? John Morrison, Ricochet on a pre-show, and us knowing how good they are, just shows, man, that Vince is more out of touch than we know. And it's disappointing, man. It is. But the match wasn't anything special. There was no stakes. Wait, why should anybody care about here? Basically, you guys know how a WWE Battle Royal is. They're the people in the match. They're walking around the ring, just looking for openings to attack each other. Nothing cool. Miz, was a sneaky heel, and he was able to keep himself from getting eliminated. But this didn't do anything for anybody. Miz won the match, him being Mr. Money in the Bank, but what's the reward? There's no reward here. It's just a Battle Royal just to be put on the card. Like, why? It represents Survivor Series. No fucking stakes. No stakes. Like, oh my gosh, bro. Like, maybe the winner of this match gets a free IC or United States Championship match, depending on the brand that they're on. So let's say, for example, Rey Mysterio wins this match. He wins the Battle Royal. He gets a free IC title match against Sami Zayn anytime within the next month. At least make us care. There was no point to this. It was retarded and stupid. So I'm not going to spend any more time on it because it doesn't mean anything in the long run. It means absolutely nothing. So we get into the main card. The first match on the card was the men's traditional Survivor Series elimination tag team match, right? And I thought this would be good. The talent in this match is absolutely spectacular. You have guys like Matt Riddle, Seth Rollins, Sheamus, Kevin Owens, but AJ Styles, Keith Lee. And you're thinking, oh, this could be an absolute banger. You think about it, man. Compare the traditional matches, just the men's and the female Survivor Series matches that we saw tonight to last year. Just compare those matches, and the difference is night and day. Last year, you cared about those. You had NXT involved, and everybody was into it. You had Survivor Series, like the rookie stage, as some people looked at them, or at least how the main roster saw it, trying to come up and, beat the guys in the big leagues. You cared about it. That interaction with Keith Lee and Roman Reigns, right? And with the woman, Sasha Banks being the MVP of that match, and then getting taken down by Rhea Ripley teaming up with the NXT talent. It was incredible. Here, there's nothing to care about. Nothing to care about. You had the SmackDown team that had no chemistry. No chemistry whatsoever. They did nothing to build anything between these men. Otis was just thrown into the match last Friday. I read a report that Big E was supposed to qualify for that last spot, but he didn't. They just decided to scrap the plans at the last moment for whatever reason. And we get this tonight. They throw Otis in there, and then there's nothing. There's no story there with the SmackDown men's team. This was all about the Raw men's team because there was a little bit of a story there. Them trying to band together these last couple weeks, right? AJ Styles acting like he's the captain when his whole team doesn't believe he's the captain. But, you know, they should have banded together. But, this is about them banding together and taking out SmackDown despite all their differences. So everyone comes out. The only thing to know here from the entrances was Keith Lee. If you guys have been listening to the podcast the last couple months since Keith Lee made his debut on Monday Night Raw, I have been bitching and moaning for Keith Lee to get a new theme song. They changed his legendary NXT theme song, "Oh, bask in his glory, for he is limitless." Absolutely love that theme song. And I there's some times where I listen to it on YouTube just because I love the theme. They changed it to some generic theme, right? But I knew Keith Lee was getting a new theme song because on his Instagram page, he posted a picture of him recording with some artists in New York, and we saw the debut of it. His new theme song is great. They have him rapping on it, and I love it. I love it. I don't know if it will ever be as good as his NXT theme song. You'll see, because if you guys know me, it takes me a good couple months to get used to the theme song. You guys remember when Seth and Bailey got their theme songs and how long it took me to get used to those, right? So we'll see how good Keith Lee's theme song is, and if it's better than his NXT one in a couple of weeks once we've heard it over and over again. But at the end of the day, man, I'm just happy that he got a new theme. It makes him legit, because you guys know having a theme song is one of the most important things to a superstar. One of the most important things. It basically describes their entire character, their personality. It makes him actually feel legit, and I'm happy. I'm really happy that they gave him a legit theme song here. I really am happy. All right, but let me know what you guys think of Keith Lee's theme song in the comment section down below. Let me know, guys. But either way, getting to the match was not anything special. The match was not good whatsoever, man. I know there's going to be some people out there that are like, oh, the match was good. No, it wasn't. The match was not that good. It was not that good. I'm just hoping, just from this alone, I'm just hoping that next year things are back to normal. We have NXT involved. Hopefully we'll have a live crowd and we'll get an actual Survivor Series build, because this year's was so disappointing. But the match was not anything good. Probably the biggest thing is, so Rollins demanded to tag himself into the match. From the second Rollins came out, he looked off. Rollins looked off. And he had a stern look on his face. He lost to Rey Mysterio last week. Then he lost to Buddy Murphy in what was a really good match on SmackDown this past Friday. And he was pretty despondent. So he legit asks to be tagged into the ring, and then he gets down on his knees, opens up, spreads his arms, and he's like, "Get rid of me!" Like he wants to get eliminated from the match. And I was like, huh? I'm like, wait, what? Wait, is he being serious? Like, what the hell's going on here? What's going on here? But he was being serious, and we see that Seth Rollins asks Sheamus to bro kick him, which he does. Sheamus is confused, but he doesn't hesitate. He hits Rollins with a huge bro kick, and Rollins gets himself eliminated. Allows himself to get eliminated. And I'm just like, wow. That's the way they're writing Seth Rollins off TV. And it makes sense. The Buddy Murphy storyline is concluded. The Rey Mysterio storyline, after, years, is finally concluded. So, and clearly, Seth will be back for WrestleMania season. And I don't know what you do with Seth going to WrestleMania. He's staying heel. I heard some people thinking Seth should come back as a babyface and face Roman. No, Seth should stay heel for right now. Maybe eventually you can turn Seth back into a babyface, but not now. Not right now. But Seth's leaving. He's gonna have his baby with Becky. Becky's is gonna be due in a couple weeks, so congratulations to them. I'll keep you guys updated on when that happens. But Seth will be back, right? Maybe around the Royal Rumble time, I could see him coming back. He can be a surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble, and we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what you really do with Seth going to WrestleMania season. I don't, right? Maybe you get him involved in the IC title picture. I wouldn't be against that, but we'll just have to see how that goes. We'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, Rollins getting himself eliminated like that. Styles and Owens cooking the pace here. All right. And, KO starts unloading stunners to Team Raw. Styles then hit a phenomenal forearm on Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is eliminated, right? So then we saw Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle pinned Corbin and sent him to the locker room. So, like I said, Raw just ran through SmackDown, and I was completely surprised. I thought we would get more of a competitive match here, but no. Otis went for a Vader bomb, but Matt Riddle ran interference, and Strowman was able to hit Otis with a power slam. So then, lastly, we see Keith Lee. He delivered a really, really good spirit bomb to Jey Uso. And basically, Jey, he was hitting super kicks on everybody. It was 5-on-1. And, this would actually have to play with what we would see later on in the show, which I actually enjoyed. So Jey was trying to fight everyone 5-on-1. His team was gone, right? But he's trying to do his best. But then he runs into a huge spirit bomb from Keith Lee. Absolutely incredible. And then Team Raw defeats SmackDown 5-0. Complete sweep, complete domination. All right? And going into this, I knew that Monday Night Raw was going to win the match. I just didn't expect a sweep. And it just shows how lackluster this Survivor Series build has been. There's no stakes here, right? The only real story going into this match was Team Raw trying to get on the same page. And they were able to get on the same page, and they were able to get the sweep, right? And congrats to Team Raw, but it was disappointing, very disappointing. I thought we would get much more of a competitive match, especially, when you look at the talent that are actually in this match. But hey, it's whatever, right? It's whatever. But let me know what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy the match? Honestly, if there was actual stakes involved here, I would have, either have all these men get, better slots in the Royal Rumble, or I would have them all have the opportunity to get a title match sometime within the next 2 months. Right? But, it's whatever. It's honestly whatever, man. This is what happens when you have a lackluster Survivor Series build with absolutely no stakes and nothing on the line. I'm happy that Keith Lee had his theme song, and that's about it. That's the takeaway I take from this match. Keith Lee's new theme song. That's the positive. It is what it is. Moving on, we had the New Day versus the Street Profits, all right? The battle of the two tag team champions. This was one of the 3 matches I was very excited for coming into the show. I told you guys this had the chance to be one of the best tag team matches of the year, because if WWE lets these two teams go at it, it will be great, and that's what they did. Before the match, though, the New Day came out in these Gear of War attire, and it was fire. It was fire. I would say this was the best New Day attire that we've seen since their WrestleMania 32 entrance in Dallas, right? When they came out of the cereal box with the Saiyan armor from Dragon Ball Z, right? This was their best attire. That thing was fucking flames. And the thing is, Big E actually came out with the team. He was holding the Raw Tag Team Champions. So that's just telling you that Big E is still a part of the New Day, but they're just on separate brands, because Big E's a single star on SmackDown. So I didn't mind that. But they also, I will say this, one thing that got me pissed is they showed a commercial. They showed a commercial advertising the New Day in Gears of War, and how there's an actual New Day DLC, right? Where you could download Kofi, Xavier, and Biggie and actually play with them online, which is pretty cool. I don't play Gears of War, but I know it's a good game, and I know there's definitely going to be some WWE fans that play Gears of War that are probably really hyped right now because they actually had Kofi, Xavier, and Biggie actually record dialogue on the game. But what pissed me off is WWE promoting, marketing, the New Day in Gears of War, but they haven't once in the last 3 weeks advertised Sasha Banks being in The Mandalorian. Like, are you kidding me? You have your top female star in one of the biggest franchises in the entire world. She's in fucking Star Wars for Disney. And you haven't marketed her once. Outside of a congratulations tweet that WWE sent Sasha on Twitter and a Instagram post, they haven't done anything. How hard would it be to have Michael Cole or Corey Graves for 15 to 20 seconds, like they did with the New Day tonight, to talk about how Sasha Banks is in Star Wars and, urging fans to go check out her role as Costa Reeves inside Star Wars The Mandalorian? How hard is that? It mind boggles me how dumb these people can be. Really. The simplest things they refuse to do. And it truly bothers me. It truly bothers me. All right. And, it's like, WWE's always making things difficult for themselves. And I hate it. I really do hate it. But, after the New Day came out, the Street Profits came out as well. And they cut an amazing promo. This was one of the best, if not the best promo the team the team has cut on the main roster. This was a fantastic promo by the Street Profits. The energy was there, right? They talked about the Undertaker and all these legends, but how they're ready to start their own legend tonight by beating one of the best tag teams of all time in the New Day, which is true. And then they stopped by saying, "We want the smoke," really passionate and full of energy. I loved it. Street Profits came out. They had their entrance. And basically, I loved how the match started off as, fun looking, because we know these two teams, they love to have fun. Right? They love to have fun. But it quickly turned into a really hard exchanging match. So we saw there was a dive. Kofi did a dive over the rope. I love the way he does it, man. It's crazy. Kofi gets height where he doesn't even have to put his hands on the rope to fly over it. That's how high his vertical is. But he leaped over Ford, and Ford's head bounced off the concrete. I'm surprised Ford did not get a concussion from that. The way it looked nasty, the way his head just bounced off the concrete, man. But he was okay, and he was able to keep going. So basically, the New Day dominated this match, and Corey Graves mentioned on a commentary that this is a rare sight. We don't usually get to see the New Day show this kind of aggression, and I gotta agree. The New Day are usually very fun-loving, but they were taking this seriously, right? And they were dominating because they're the more experienced tag team. They've been teaming for years now. That's the reason why they've won so many tag team championships. So I like the analysis we were getting on commentary. Yeah, my chair is mad small. I don't know why it feels like my chair is sinking. But the New Day's aggression here was really, really great. So basically, we saw Dawkins. Dawkins got into the match using his power to toss around Kingston everywhere. He delivered an underhook neckbreaker to Xavier Woods. And they continued their offense, but the New Day fought back, and they did their midnight hour. Montez Ford kicked out. One thing that I liked here is Corey Graves mentioned how, usually when they do the midnight hour, it's with Big E, and Xavier Woods is on the other end flying, but now they're doing it with Kofi Kingston. So maybe the reason why Montez Ford was able to kick out was because, Kofi is nowhere near as powerful as Big E. Big E was the power horse, the workhorse of the team. So I kind of like that analysis there, trying to, speculate why something happened. So I like that. Really good analyzing. So then we saw Dawkins. He downed Kingston, and Ford delivered the frog splash, but his ribs that got injured earlier in the match cost him some time, so he wasn't able to get the kick, the 1, 2, 3. So that allowed Kofi to kick out. Then Ford did Kofi's own Trouble in Paradise. So I'm a mark when we see stuff like this. I love seeing other superstars do their opponents' finishers on each other. I love it. Montez Ford did a really good version of the Trouble in Paradise. But then Woods followed with a beautiful gutbuster for another close fall. So, excuse me. So then the finish came when Dawkins blindly tagged himself in. And he hosted Woods up on his shoulders, and Ford did a really good looking blockbuster for the hard fought victory. So the Street Profits get the win there. Liked it. Really, really good match. It may actually be the best tag team match we've seen on the main roster all year. And that's not saying much because the tag team division hasn't been good on WWE all year. But I'm not going to lie, this was a fantastic tag team match. Fantastic. After the match, the New Day and the Street Profits, they shake hands, right? They embrace each other. The New Day were proud of the Street Profits for stepping up. So I like that sportsmanship here there. The thing that pisses me off is you had the New Day and the Street Profits, right? I think outside from basically this may have been, outside of Roman and Drew, this may have been the best booked match, like best build, right? And it was a simple build. Most of the build took place with the New Day and the Street Profits going back and forth on WWE's social media. But I loved how the match was built, and the match was great. I told you guys this would be a bigger of a match. What pisses me off is you had the New Day and the Street Profits go out there and put out that kind of match tonight. But this tag team division has been a complete clusterfuck all year. Every month, a tag team's injured, like AOP, right? Or then the tag team gets released. And then you have Gallows and Anderson. You released them on, what was Black Wednesday earlier this year, right? And then, you're breaking up tag teams left and right. You break up Heavy Machinery. Nobody cares about Miz and Morrison, right? The freaking, what's the name? Forgotten Sons, who are truly forgotten at this point. It took me 5 seconds to remember their name right there, which shows how forgotten they are. They're not even on TV anymore. You have all this talent, and yet you're not using them. You find ways to fuck it up. No matter if it's by releasing them, not using them, breaking them up. WWE has all this talent in the tag team division, but they fail to fucking use it. They fail to use it, and it really pisses me off. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. How can you give us a banger of a match like that tonight, but your tag team divisions are complete dog shit on both Raw and SmackDown? Like, really? This is why I say WWE should merge the tag team divisions, because there is no divisions on each show. There's none. There's about 2 or 3 teams in each division. Instead of merging the tag team divisions and having one set of titles. Like, really? Common sense. Oh my God, WWE has, opportunities. If they would just look in the mirror and look, they would see that they have everything they need to have a fantastic tag team division. But they just find ways to mess it up. This is one of the rare occasions when you see tag team wrestling actually being put to use on the main roster in 2020. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really do hope you guys enjoyed the New Day and the Street Profits, man, because we'll be lucky if we get anything like that in the next year. And I'm serious, because with the way Vince and Bruce Pritchard booked the tag team divisions, getting a match like we got tonight is a rare. It's like a Christmas gift. It really is. It's a Christmas gift. The match was great. I just wish WWE would see this and actually put care and thought into their tag team divisions on Raw and SmackDown, because they have the talent to do so. But they just keep fucking up in ways and putting their own product, in danger. I hate it. But either way, really good match today. I'm happy that the Street Profits got the victory. It makes them look big, being one of the best tag teams of all time. So I'm really happy for the Street Profits. They've really turned into household names on the main roster. Really. In a tag team division that's almost meaningless, they're one of the rare bright spots. Rare bright spots, man. And the Black Excellence, man. The Black superstars that we saw absolutely go ham on the show. The New Day, the Street Profits, Sasha Banks, right? Bianca Belair. Crazy. Crazy stuff. Really happy with how WWE did this. Right? Really good job. All right, but yeah, getting into the next match, we went from something great to something absolutely awful. Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn, IC title versus United States champion. I reported on this on the podcast earlier this week. I told you guys that WWE was planning on having this be a squash match. It wasn't a squash match entirely, but the match was absolutely dog shit. All right, the match was not good at all. Terrible. The match was not good. And if someone tells you this match was good tonight, they're lying. They're lying to you. Do not believe them. Do not believe them. All right. But, all right. So basically, the Hurt Business joined Bobby Lashley at ringside. Basically, Sami Zayn started off the match just by running. He would refuse to engage Lashley. He would try to run the outside, but the Hurt Business would corner him. He tried to basically trick the Hurt Business into, attacking him because that would have set a disqualification and gave Zayn the victory, but they didn't fall for his traps, right? So Lashley dominated the match early. And every time Sami tried to escape, he would just reel him back in. If you guys remember when Lashley and Sami Zayn had that awful feud a couple years ago back on Monday Night Raw when Lashley was a babyface, right? They had that whole Sami Zayn Vertigo storyline, which was awful. I know you guys all remember the Bobby Lashley and his sister segment, right? I know you guys remember that crap. So we got something like that here. So basically, Sami Zayn decided that he had vertigo, but he used this only to try to get a cheap roll up. But Lashley kicked out. So Lashley kept beating on Zayn, and this match went on way too long. Really, it should have only been less than 5 minutes. And I hate to say that about Sami Zayn, but there was really no belief. There was nothing they could do to make you believe that Sami Zayn had a chance of winning this match, other than maybe trying to get the Hurt Business to cause a disqualification. But there was really nothing. There was nothing they could do to make you believe that Sami Zayn was going to win this match. Nothing at all. But Sami went for a haluva kick. Lashley grabbed him and then hit him with a spine buster. Zayn tried to escape, but then MVP tripped him and rolled him back into the ring. Lashley applied the Hurt Lock for the submission win. This was not a good match. Sorry. I knew that Lashley was going to win, but it just wasn't believable. Really, the story that they told just wasn't believable. And Zayn tried, making excuses like he always does, right? Complaining. And, they'll probably have him do the same thing on SmackDown. He'll come out and complain that he got screwed. But honestly, I don't care. I don't care, really. I don't care. What I cared about, and I talked about it earlier in the podcast. Guys, WWE has all the talent in the world. They have a fantastic United States and IC title division. They have the talent. Everybody you saw in the Battle Royal in the pre-show tonight should be in the mid-card division, having singles matches every single week to determine rankings and for us to understand who's to be the number one contenders for those titles. Has Sami Zayn or Bobby Lashley had one good feud since they won their titles? Bobby Lashley, he had a feud that went on way too long with Apollo Crews on Raw, and Sami Zayn, I don't think he's had one feud since he won the IC title. I don't even remember when he won it. I think it was Clash of Champions, but still, it's disappointing. You have so much talent in these mid-card divisions, and you're not using them. All right, I don't want to hear Sami Zayn bitching or moaning on Friday, all right, about how he lost. I don't even want to see the Hurt Business. I don't even want to see Bobby Lashley bragging about his victory. I want to see you put these two in rivalries. Put these two in rivalries. You have the talent. Bobby Lashley versus Matt Riddle. Bobby Lashley versus Sheamus. Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman, right? You have talent in your mid-card divisions. Sami Zayn versus Otis. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, right? I've been saying they should be doing that feud for months. Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan if you want to do that. There's so many rivalries and feuds that these two men could be doing. actually elevating those titles. But instead, WWE wants to waste time, with, these pointless segments. I hate it. I really do hate it. And the thing is, WWE knows what they're doing because they had Bobby Lashley last week face Titus O'Neil. And Titus O'Neil was saying that Bobby never defends the title. So WWE scripted Titus O'Neil to say that. Right? They know what they're doing. And it would be simple. It would be so simple for WWE to right those wrongs and actually build competitive divisions for those superstars. But they refuse to. Always. And I hate that. I don't care what you have planned for them. Have them have an actual rivalry. Please. Please. That's all I'm asking for. Put these two in mid-card feuds for their titles so those titles can actually get fucking elevated. It's that simple. It really is. It's that simple. I just got the notification that the Chiefs beat the Raiders 35-31. That must have been a great game. If it wasn't for Survivor Series, I would have watched it. But, yeah, I'm looking at Twitter right now. Everyone talk about the game. Woo. Oh, man. Anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on Colin Coward tweets LeBron might have to build another that's funny. LeBron might have to build another trophy house. Yeah, they might. They might. Ooh. Wow. Anyway, yeah, getting into it. So the first of the two main events tonight, right? There was two advertised main events. Sasha Banks versus Asuka for the women's championship, right? And Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns for the men's championship. So Sasha being the SmackDown Women's Champion, Asuka being the Raw Women's Champion, Roman Reigns being the WWE Universal Champion, and Drew being the WWE Champion, right? So we got Sasha Banks and Asuka first. And if you guys saw the preview prediction show, I said that Sasha needed to win. That's really was the story here, right? Sasha Banks and Asuka, they've had a fantastic rivalry over the years. They've had some bangers this year alone. Their rivalry this summer was one of the best feuds all year for WWE, right? Their match at Extreme Rules, match of the year candidate. Their match at SummerSlam, match of the year candidate. And, they never disappoint. This was another great match tonight. It was only about 13 minutes. WWE could have easily had these two go another 10, but it went 13, which, whatever. But this was a banger of a match. Sasha Banks and Asuka have undeniable chemistry. And I will say this for the millionth time. Sasha Banks and Asuka are the two best female wrestlers in the world. Not just in WWE, but in the world. There's nobody on their level. The only person I would put near their level is a Bayley. And maybe Becky Lynch. And Bianca Belair. That's it. There's nobody else on their level. Sasha Banks and Asuka are the undisputed two best female wrestlers in the world. And they proved that again tonight. Every time they're in the ring together, no matter how much time they get, it's a banger. This was almost the same amount of time that they got at SummerSlam. And this match may have been better than their match at SummerSlam. It's crazy to me, man. It is. I love it. The story going into it was, these two ending their long rivalry, right? And I would argue that Asuka has better matches with Sasha Banks and better chemistry than she does with Bayley, Becky, and Charlotte. Because Asuka has had great matches with all members of the Four Horsewomen. But I think Asuka has the best chemistry with Sasha Banks. For real. Right? But I said this. Asuka has defeated Sasha Banks clean 3 times. 3 times. The night after the Royal Rumble in 2018. Right? Then at SummerSlam just a couple months ago. And then she made Sasha tap out clean again the night after SummerSlam. Right? And so Sasha's never defeated Asuka clean. The only time she defeated Asuka was in controversy. At Extreme Rules when Bayley put on the referee shirt. And then, a couple weeks later when she defeated Asuka by countout to win the Raw Women's Championship. What do you want me to say? Right, it should tell you right there, Sasha need this victory way more than Asuka. Asuka really hasn't been doing anything with the Raw Women's Championship, and it's not her fault. I've been saying this on the Monday Night Raw reviews. It's WWE's fault for not booking Asuka in any rivalries. Outside of the rivalry that Asuka had with Sasha and Bayley this summer, and the match she had with Zelina Vega when Zelina was still an employee a couple months back, Asuka has done nothing with the Raw Women's Championship. And it's a waste because you are wasting the prime of Asuka's career. She should be putting out bangers with everybody on the Raw Women's roster, and you're not using her. You're not using her correctly. She hasn't had a real feud in months, and that's WWE's fault. That's WWE's fault. But Sasha Banks, she just won the SmackDown Women's Championship, right? Taking the title from Bayley, who was the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion of all time. And the thing about it is, she's only about a month in her reign. I saw somebody post today that today is Sasha's 28th day as champion. Depending on when you guys are watching this, I'm recording this on Survivor Series Sunday. But today was Sasha's 28th day as champion. That marks the longest time that Sasha Banks has held a singles title on the main roster, which still boggles my mind to actually say. Sasha finally holds a title for over a month. The curse is over of her having to retain a title, and now she's finally held a title longer than 30 days, which is a blessing. It's a blessing, right? But Sasha needs this match more. She's never defeated Asuka clean. The big thing going into it, I said this on my preview prediction show. I said Sasha was gonna win the match. Right? The only thing that could keep Sasha from not winning this match is if Carmella interferes. Because you guys saw with the promo segment we had on Friday with Sasha and Asuka, Carmella interfered for the third week in a row. I would have been really pissed off if they had chosen to have Asuka interfere. Or not Asuka, Carmella interfere. It would have ticked me off a lot. Let the two best female wrestlers in the world fight, damn it. Let them go at it. And I gotta give WWE credit. They did. This was spectacular. Sasha Banks came out. Another banger attire. You guys know she has new ring attire every single pay-per-view. This one was blue and yellow. She had the nice little Vegeta colors going on. And what I will say here, man, is that gear matches perfectly with the SmackDown Women's title. I feel like Sasha had that attire made just for that title. Because it matches so well. And I loved it. Loved it a lot. So, basically, this was a technician match. This was just a freaking tutorial in technician wrestling. That's what it was. So, here we go. Basically there was a bunch of early chain wrestling, right? So Asuka applied an ankle lock, booted Sasha in the midsection, and delivered a running kick to the face. Asuka did her normal hip toss into a knee to the face, but a Shining Wizard attempt from Asuka missed. Sasha went for the bake statement, but Asuka fought it, and Banks settled for a modified abdominal stretch, right? Then Sasha went for an octopus submission. So one thing I loved is Corey Graves on commentary. He was like, you see how calm Asuka is. So I've already said this, but Corey Graves had some really good analysis. Excuse me. Corey Graves had some really good analysis on commentary tonight. Really good analysis. Then as we keep going, Sasha went for a Meteora, but Asuka countered with a code breaker. Then inside they traded pinfall attempts. Neither could score the win. Sasha then finally got the Meteora, and then she went for a frog splash, but Asuka was able to get the knees up. Sasha countered a double knee into the bake statement, but Asuka was able to fight out of it, and then she was able to get Sasha into the Asuka lock. Sasha fought out of it. Asuka did a second code breaker, and Sasha kicked out at 2. Then, probably the best part of the match, the last 3 minutes, it just shows how the last 3 minutes, I keep saying matches, but the last 3 minutes here is what separates Sasha Banks and Asuka when we talk about the best female wrestlers in the world. The last 3 minutes were incredible. They just kept rolling up each other, but they were doing unique pin combinations, unique roll-ups. Everybody in the WWE Women's roster knows how to do a roll-up, but they don't know how to do them in unique fashions. They don't. right? But Asuka and Sasha know how to counter everything. And this was fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Then, as they kept rolling each other up, Asuka delivered a big kick to the face. Sasha recovered and answered with a modified victory roll and got the 1, 2, 3. Perfect. It would have been more satisfying to see Sasha get the win with a bank statement, right? But this was a perfect way to protect both women. Really. Asuka losing by a victory roll-up, right? And it wasn't a random roll-up that came out of nowhere. It came from pure technician wrestling. That's what made it great. A lot of times when you see roll-ups, they come out of nowhere. And it's just like, really? That's how you're ending it? Here, they had been doing it for a good 3 minutes. And you knew eventually one was going to catch the other with a roll-up. And Sasha did it, and it felt natural. It felt organic, and it was great. It was great. I love this match. Another classic from Sasha. Sasha in the last month has had 3 bangers of matches. You had Hell in a Cell with Bayley. Then a couple weeks ago, you had the match with Bayley on SmackDown. And now tonight with Asuka. So really good stuff here with Sasha Banks and Asuka. So after the match, Sasha gave herself like a fist pump, and I really like that because, Sasha's character is that anti-hero babyface. I went off about this on my Survivor Series predictions because there's a bunch of clowns in this community who claim to be, who claim to know the business, and they were, going off talking about how they don't like how Sasha's this cocky babyface. She's not marketable like that, and I was like, do you not understand what Sasha's legit boss character is supposed to be? Sasha Banks, this version of Sasha Banks, the one we're seeing right now, she's an anti-hero babyface. She's someone that's confident in everything she does, who is so badass you want to cheer for her. That's the thing. So I love how Sasha giving herself like that pump, that pump fist, fist pump, giving herself that fist pump in victory. Like, yes, cross that off the list. Beating Asuka clean, man. Loved it. The only complaint I have with this match is that I wish it went on longer. It was 13 minutes. It was around the same time they got at SummerSlam, and it was a banger. Sasha, if you look at the best female wrestling matches of the year, Sasha Banks probably has 5 or 6 of them. She really does. She's been carrying the women's division on her back this year. And this is just another fantastic showing. Sasha deserved to get the win here. She needed to because she's never defeated Asuka clean. Right? We can finally get that out of the way. Loved it. And, after the match, I thought Sasha would show, some sportsmanship to Asuka. But instead, Sasha was like, good match. You really are great. But I'm the boss. I'm just that much better. So really love that. Sasha's still keeping that anti-hero babyface persona, So don't be a clown and be like, oh, Sasha's this cocky babyface. She's not marketable like that. Some of these clowns in the community. No. If you say that, you don't understand WWE. Because if you're saying you don't like Sasha the way she's presenting right now, you don't like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, the way those two guys were presented in the Attitude Era. Because legit, I said this on my previous prediction show, and I don't care. If you disagree with me, you don't know wrestling. The Sasha Banks you're seeing right now, right, with the Mandalorian and the way she's presented as this badass babyface who looks like a star when she's wrestling, when she's, when she's wearing normal clothes, no matter what. The Sasha Banks you are seeing right now, right? She is the modern day version of The Rock from the Attitude Era. And if you don't agree with me, then you have problems. The Rock the stuff that The Rock said back in the Attitude Era, the way he dressed with his $500 shirts and his pants and the shades, that's what Sasha Banks does now. If The Rock said any of the stuff that he's in the Attitude Era now, you guys would say The Rock needs to be canceled. What's the difference between Sasha Banks now and The Rock from the Attitude Era? If you really have a problem with the way Sasha's presented right now, then you don't like the way The Rock was presented back in the Attitude Era. And that means you don't know anything about wrestling and you're just an idiot. Like I said, I'm here to educate people. That's what I do with this podcast. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. The way Sasha's being presented, she is the top babyface on SmackDown in the women's division. You can make an argument that Sasha's the top babyface in WWE outside of Drew McIntyre. You can make that argument. And there's really not a lot of top baby faces at the moment. Maybe Daniel Bryan, maybe. and a Keith Lee, but I would say the top baby faces are Drew McIntyre and Sasha Banks. And, if you have a problem with that, you don't know wrestling. You really don't. And it makes me mad that WWE is not capitalizing on Sasha Banks being in Star Wars, and they're not marketing her appearance on that show on WWE programming. Because it's like, what are you doing? It's common sense. Anybody with a brain would see this is a no-brainer to talk about Sasha Banks being on The Mandalorian. Sasha is legit the biggest star that they have right now. And Becky's out, Ronda's out, Charlotte's out. Like, come on, WWE. Come on, use your brains. Come on. And like I said, if you think Sasha Banks is not the biggest star in WWE right now, and if you think there is a problem with the way she's being presented as a babyface, then you're just an idiot. It's that simple. It's really that simple. All right. Where do we go from here? Asuka, you need to put her in a rivalry. She has had no rivalry since Selena Vega and Sasha Banks this summer, and that's a shame. We are now nearing the end of the year. We're going to start talking about the Royal Rumble now, because the Royal Rumble is only 2 short months away, guys. So it's actually, we're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble. We're going to be talking about WrestleMania. I expect a lot of people to be coming back. I expect Becky to be coming back once she has her baby next month, God willing. I expect Ronda Rousey to be back. I expect Charlotte to be back. The women's division is going to be crazy going forward. So WWE, you need to get things in line. I would do an Asuka rivalry with Alexa Bliss right now. That's what I would do. All right? Since Naomi's not there and Charlotte's not there, I would do an Asuka and Alexa Bliss rivalry because I love the way Alexa Bliss is being presented on Raw right now. With Sasha Banks, we know where she's going. She's clearly going to continue this rivalry with Carmella, right? It's whatever. It's more filler, to be honest. But, Sasha will be able to bring Carmella to a good match because we all know Sasha is the best female wrestler in the world. I just wish they would build Carmella up. Instead of having her attack Sasha Banks every week and that being, how Carmella gets a title match, have her actually beat some woman and, build herself up and give herself a reason why she should be the number 1 contender. You have time, right? TLC is at the end of December. I believe it's December 22nd. Let me check real quick. WWE TLC 2020. Yep, it's Sunday, December 20th. About a whole month, 4 weeks. Right now, right? Spend the next 2 weeks booting up Carmella, have her win a couple matches, and have her be number 1 contender, and then have the next 2 weeks tell the story of whatever you want to do with Carmella and Sasha. And then Sasha wins at TLC. It's that simple. It's that simple, right? So that's what I would do. But tonight, absolute classic with Sasha and Asuka. Great stuff. Great to see Sasha get a dub. Really good stuff by the GOAT right there. All right, I'm going to take a second. We're going to take a second and look in the chat really quick. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys are watching me for the first time, thank you guys for tuning into the Legit Shoot podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe and follow me on social media. It really does mean a lot. Also, like the video, it pushes it out to people who need to be educated. All right, I'm going to look in the chat really quick. I don't know. Dang, you guys said a lot. Oh, gosh. Hold on, let me look in the chat. Ronda's not a good wrestler. Sasha Banks wins means a good night. BX kids say Sasha's just a GOAT. The attire was fire. JD says that Rhea Ripley should go to SmackDown and turn heel because Charlotte killed momentum. That's right. I agree. I agree. I completely agree. If you want to have Rhea Ripley come to SmackDown, because clearly Rhea Ripley's going to be moved up to the main roster, hey, put Rhea Ripley on SmackDown. She may be needed more on Raw because the Raw Women's Division is absolutely dead. But if you want to turn Rhea Ripley heel and have her feud with a babyface Sasha, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it. It's all really going to depend on where Becky and Ronda go once Becky comes back. Because I feel like Becky's going to be on SmackDown with Seth because they're married, right? That's his fiance, and they're about to have a child together. So it would make the complete sense. So I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, so now that I'm updated with the chat, let's get into the rest of the show. Drinking a lot of water tonight, people. Anyway, moving on. We had the women's traditional tag team elimination match. And I will say this, I don't believe I'm saying this. This match was better than the match with the men's Survivor Series match that opened the show. This was a better match, but it wasn't that much better. Mainly because of the ending. If they had done the ending better, I would have a lot more to say. But the ending here was awful. It was awful, man. And think about it is SmackDown should have won this match. And I read to you guys yesterday on the podcast that Raw Survivor Series team for the women has won every single year since 2016. Every single year the Raw Women's team wins. I thought this would be the year that SmackDown would finally get the victory. And if you looked at it, if you compared the two teams, right? The Raw, the SmackDown Women's team was so much better than the Raw Women's team. So much better. You couldn't really dispute it. Right? You had Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Bayley, and Natalya. Right? But, Raw's team, Lacey Evans, who cares? Peyton Royce, who cares? Nia Jax can't wrestle. Shayna Baszler was the only prominent name on the Raw Women's team. So, this was such a lopsided. You think this would be dominant. I personally thought that SmackDown would sweep. I thought SmackDown would sweep the Raw Survivor Series team. But that's not what we got. So, what happened here? Basically, Bayley was the first to get eliminated, which surprised me a lot. You had Bayley, who just came off a fantastic reign as SmackDown Women's Champion, right? And then you also had her as the captain for the SmackDown Women's team, and then she's the first eliminated. She got eliminated in the most, BS faction too. All right, Peyton Royce did a Deja Vu and got a surprise elimination. So I'm thinking, all right, are they building up Peyton Royce? Because if she's defeating someone as great as Bayley that easily, right? So maybe that means they have plans for Peyton Royce. But no, Peyton Royce got eliminated 2 seconds later by Natalya in the sharpshooter. I'm just like, wow. Clearly WWE did put no logic, no thinking into this match. All right? No logic, right? And also another thing, I thought they would use this match to plant seeds for a Bayley and Bianca Belair feud. Because I feel like that would be the best next thing for Bayley right now. She's not in the title scene, right? And you have Bianca Belair, who's on the come up, being, one of the next stars in the women's division. But instead, you had nothing. There was no tension. There was nothing here. Bayley got eliminated, and that was that. Such a disappointment. Really. When Sasha Banks was captain for the Women's Survivor Series team last year, it was fantastic. She did what a captain should be. She was one of the last to get eliminated, right? She got a lot of eliminations along the way too. Bayley didn't do anything. She didn't even get an elimination. She was the first person to get eliminated. Like, come on, man. Really, come on. Hate that stuff. So, Peyton Royce got eliminated. After that, Natalya got eliminated when she got hit with the woman's right by Lacey Evans. Always a terrible name. Then we saw Lacey Evans did a beautiful Spanish fly on Bianca Belair. I'm not going to lie. See, Lacey Evans did a beautiful. This was really cool. It looked really good, right? And I was just thinking, if you guys remember last year, Bianca Belair she was on NXT. Right, WWE did a fantastic job of making her look good. They made her look good in the Women's Royal Rumble, and she looked really good in the Women's Survivor Series match. But now I'm just like, huh? So far, halfway through this match, I was like, this is the way you're using Bianca Belair? Really? You building up the next star on SmackDown? This is what we're doing? I wasn't enjoying it. All right, Ruby Riott, she got injured. not injured. The way she got eliminated, she basically Baszler tried to put her in the Karafuda clutch, but Ride was able to counter it into a pinfall. She actually got the 3 count, but the referee was distracted from Nia Jax. So then, basically, being trapped in the Karafuda clutch so long, right? She passed out, and then Baszler was just able to easily pin her for the elimination. So then, Liv Morgan, you guys know I really do like Liv Morgan. She did a crucifix bomb on Lacey Evans and got the elimination. So then after that, Nia Jax did a Samoa drop on Liv Morgan, and that's how Liv Morgan got eliminated. So now it was a 3-on-1 situation, and you had Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, and Lana. Lana's role in this match was to sit on the steel ring steps and not get involved at all. Not to tag in, not to do anything, right? It looked absolutely ridiculous because you have Lana sitting there like a pussy bitch, with the lipstick coming down her lips. And I'm just like, what are you doing? I'm just like, what a waste of time. I hate these terrible underdog stories that no one gives a crap about. There's no reason for me to care about Lana. None. All right? So basically, it's 3-on-1. Here, you have a chance. You have the opportunity to make a new star here with Bianca Belair. The same way that Sasha Banks and Bayley put over Shayna Baszler at WWE Payback when they lost the tag team titles. You had the opportunity to do that here with Bianca Belair. And you didn't do it. You didn't do it. So what happens here? We see Bianca. She's fighting off Nia. She's fighting off Shayna. Shayna tags in. Shayna gets Bianca Belair in the Karafuda clutch. Excuse me. Bianca doesn't tap out, right? But she fights her way to the bottom rope. Fighting. So she gets her foot, or gets to the bottom rope, right? But Shayna Baszler doesn't let go of the hold, because she sees that Bianca is passed out. But thing is, Bianca is on the rope, so that's supposed to force a rope break, right? So Shayna doesn't give up the hold. The referee counts Shayna to the 5. I'm messing up my words. And then Shayna actually gets disqualified because she didn't let go of the hold. So Shayna gets eliminated. So now it's 2-on-1. And I'm like, there's actually a chance, right? WWE has a chance to make Bianca Belair into a star. I was thinking, if they have Bianca put Nia Jax in the KOD, it's game over. It's game over, right? Bianca is a made superstar. That's all they had to do, is have Bianca hit the KOD, and that's it. So Bianca's fighting with Nia, and, they start fighting outside the ring. And actually, Jax was Belair actually lifted Nia Jax. We all know how strong Bianca is, but she was able to lift a Nia Jax over the barricade, right, into where the Thunderdome screens are, but she was not able to get back into the ring in time. If she had gotten in 1 second later, there would have been no complaints here. She would have, Nia Jax would have been eliminated, and that would be that. But she's not able to get into the ring in time, so then she gets her and Nia are both disqualified, leaving one person left, and it's freaking Lana. Lana is the sole survivor. And then she's celebrating like she just won the Royal Rumble. Like she just won a world title at WrestleMania. She's jumping. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? You had the chance to make a name out of Bianca Belair, to make your next big star. All you had to do was let Bianca Belair either hit the KOD on Nia Jax for the 3, or have Bianca Belair get into the ring before the 10 count. That's all you had to do. But instead, you do the double count out just for Lana, of all people, to get the victory for her team. Are you kidding me? Really? I was in my Discord server, and there was people saying they were saying, Fitz, I want to see Nia Jax put Lana through a table just for that. And I can't blame them. Because, at the end of the day, they're speaking facts. This was awful. All you had to do was just rewrite the finish. No one would have been complaining, because the match wasn't terrible, but it's the finish. And now nobody cares. Even though it means nothing in the long run, it's just that you had the chance to make a star and you chose not to. I don't see. And I'm willing to bet tomorrow Lana will be put through a table for the 10th straight week. That's probably what's going to happen. And then I'll be right back here on the Monday Night Review questioning WWE's decision making like always. It makes no sense to me how WWE does not have brains. All right? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. At all. This is the problem with this company. It really is. I don't know, man. PJ says, I heard that Naomi is coming back on Raw. We'll just have to wait. We'll have to wait and see on that. I'll believe when I see it. BX says, I hope Lana has a big payoff. And if you're not going to push Bianca, with her winning, better lead to a storyline with her. I don't care. Bro, I don't care. Lana's not going to end up being anything. You keep around with this like this, Lana's going to get this big babyface push. It doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, it means nothing. It honestly means nothing. I'm telling you right now, Lana's going to get put through a table tomorrow. Just like they always do. That's the way WWE is. I understand wanting to have hope, but this is WWE we're talking about. This is Vince McMahon we're talking about. Out of touch, 101. Just the way you saw tonight. Out of touch, 101. That's the way WWE is. A simple finish that messed up. That's what we have here with WWE. Simple finish that messed up. All right, next up, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, WWE Champion versus Universal Champion. This was the only match on the card that got a video package, right? And the thing about it is the video packages were made, the video package here was made just out of the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks, they were able to build a story for this match. But still. And one thing I will say here is, I've been saying Roman versus Drew would be great, especially with what they're doing with Roman Reigns as a heel, right? Great stuff. The only thing is that they should have never put the title on Randy Orton if this was going to be the result. If they wanted to do Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, they should have never given Randy Orton the title just for him to hold it for 3 weeks. Because it's like, why? It's just like, huh? Why should we care? Why should we care? But either way, this was hyped up. You know, Roman had a very long entrance. Like I said, I don't know why Roman thinks he needs to do a 3-minute entrance in the Thunderdome. Why does he have to walk to the ring so slowly? Come on. If it's live fans, okay, I get it. You're a heel, and it is what it is. But you're in the Thunderdome. There's nobody there. Come on, bro. Come on. Then we had Drew McIntyre. He came up with the same Scottish entrance, with the sword that he did on Monday. I like when he did it. He almost messed up putting the sword. I think it's on like a carpet thing. Like usually you're supposed to put the sword straight down, but he put the sword in slanted and it almost fell, which would have been funny, right? But he was able to get it in there. So then, both for like a good 5 minutes, once they got into the ring, they just stared each other down. They're just staring each other, and I was in for it. You know, they were holding their towels in the air, looking at each other. I'm just like, okay, bet. This has a big fight feel, right? There's not a lot of times where WWE matches have that big fight feel, but this was one of them. And I think we all can say that we were all hyped for this. All. Hold on, my mic's acting. Oh, man. Let me fix that real quick. Sorry, guys. Hopefully that didn't mess up the stream. I had to fix my camera real quick. All right, we're good. We're good. All right, but, man, this match was an absolute banger. So, Reigns started the match eating a shoulder block from Drew. Then he caught Drew with a big boot. And then he started with his offense. I love throughout this entire match, Reigns will, as the match kept progressing, he was like talking shit to himself, trying to, amp himself up. Like, I'm the tribal chief, right? I'm the top champion. I gotta show this guy who's boss. So then Reigns dominated, wearing McIntyre down and hit him with a jumping clothesline. Drew fought back, delivered a huge neck breaker, and tried to go for the Claymore. Reigns hesitated to get up, so McIntyre tried for the Future Shock DDT, but Reigns delivered a Samoan drop. Then Reigns went for the Superman punch, but McIntyre caught him with a spine buster for another 2 count. McIntyre drove Reigns into the ring steps on the arena floor, only for Roman to stun him and hit him with a kick to the chest. McIntyre caught Reigns in another Superman punch attempt, and finally was able to deliver the Future Shock DDT. Reigns answered a Claymore attempt with a Superman punch. McIntyre fought out of the guillotine choke, but he couldn't execute the Claymore. McIntyre kept going for that Claymore over and over and over again, but every single time Roman had an answer. Reigns sent McIntyre shoulder first into the steel ring post. Reigns then went for a spear, but McIntyre rolled through and applied a Kimura lock. I love this. This is when the match got really, really good. He did Brock Lesnar's move. And the thing about it is you had Paul Heyman at ringside absolutely shocked. Because we never seen Drew McIntyre do this. Right? He had, and think about it, he had it fully locked in. He had his, his big legs wrapped around Roman, and he had it. And the thing is, the way Roman was selling, like, you actually felt like Roman was in complete anguish and pain there. Loved it. Loved it. Then, we see, Reigns caught McIntyre and drove him through the announce table. Then we see Reigns speared McIntyre through the guardrail. Really good stuff. He quickly got up, tried to get McIntyre back in the ring. Went for a 2 count, but McIntyre kicked out again. Loving this. Reigns delivered another spear, and then the referee delivered another quick 2 count. So I was like, at this point, I was like, 2 spears, one on the outside through a barricade, and then one on the inside of the ring, and McIntyre is still kicking out. I was like, at this point, I was like, McIntyre has to win. That's 2 spears, right? So Reigns went for a 3rd spear, but McIntyre was finally able to deliver with a Claymore out of nowhere. But the thing about it is, Reigns bumped the referee, and McIntyre was not able to get the pinfall because the referee was on the outside of the ring. So then Jey Uso appeared, and I loved this because earlier in the night we saw Jey. He was forced to have a 5-on-1 situation when he was the last man on his team for SmackDown before he got hit with the spear bomb by Keith Lee. And then when he went backstage, Roman chewed Jey Uso out and said he didn't want to hear excuses. And he actually banned Jey from the arena. He kicked him out. He said, get out of here. I don't want to see you. But the thing is, Jey did not leave the arena. He appeared, distracting Drew McIntyre. That allowed Reigns to deliver a low blow. Then Jey, with the referee still on the outside, Jey was able to hit with a super kick. This allowed Reigns to deliver a Superman punch, and then he applied the guillotine lock, and McIntyre passed out, getting the win. So Reigns get the win with help from Jey Uso. Love that. Loved how everything came full circle with what happened with Reigns and Jey during the night. This was a fantastic match. This was another Match of the Year candidate for Roman Reigns. Oh, man. Like I said, we're coming up in December, man. And when we look, I have a special podcast. It's going to be sometime during the holidays. We're going to look at, the MVPs for WWE throughout 2020. Right? You're going to have Sasha Banks, you have Bayley, you have Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, The Hurt Business, and Roman Reigns. All right? I think those are the names that you would put on that list because they have carried WWE throughout this pandemic era. Right? And Roman Reigns, the classics he had with Jey Uso, and now this match tonight with Drew McIntyre. That match tonight, the only thing missing from it was a live crowd. It was spectacular. Spectacular stuff. I know there's some people out there that don't like Drew McIntyre as babyface champion, but honestly, if you're out here complaining after that match, then you have a problem. You really do. There's really no reason for you to be complaining after the banger we saw with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre tonight. That was incredible. Incredible stuff. That's something you would see in a WrestleMania main event. Like I said, that is a Match of the Year candidate. I'm legit debating right now, because right now I have like 2 match of the years, or 3. Edge versus Randy Orton from WWE Backlash, Sasha Banks versus Bayley at Hell in a Cell, and now this match with Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Those are the 3 matches I'm debating with myself when talking about the match of the year for WWE. This was spectacular, and I want more. At the end of the match, Reigns walks up the steps and he hugs his brother. The brother he told his brother Jay, his cousin. But you guys get the point. The tribal chief bond, you guys get it. Earlier in the night, Roman telling Jay to leave the arena after failing. But the thing about it is, Jay coming out to aid Roman and giving him the advantage and the moment he needed to take advantage and get the victory, right? And them embracing at the top of the steps while Roman's holding the Universal Championship. And then you look at Drew McIntyre, who is angry for failing, just winning back the WWE Championship, but then having this huge match and not being able to get the job done, right? Roman, with everything he said, with Drew being the secondary champion, love it. There's so much more that they could do here. So much more. And I'm hoping in the future we do get a babyface Drew versus Roman feud, because there's a lot more that they can tell. But this was spectacular for what we got, and I'm really happy. Really happy. I knew this was going to be great, but I didn't expect it to be that good. Roman's doing the best work of his career right now, and definitely I got to applaud him for it. Drew was great too, man, but Roman's just on another level. I love that Roman and Sasha are the ones that are leading SmackDown right now. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right. Last but not least, The Undertaker's Farewell. This was The Undertaker's 30th anniversary. And because 30 years ago, he first showed up at the first Survivor Series. They've been doing a lot of stuff. They've been doing documentaries on the WWE Network. They've been releasing merch, right? They even have The Undertaker on Cameo, which, even though it's kind of unique, I did complain about it because the whole thing going on with the WWE Twitch and Cameo ban. I'm not a big fan of it. So but think about it is this is all centered around the Undertaker's 30th Survivor Series, and they did this farewell. The only question I had going into this: would this be a true farewell for the dead man? Was he actually going to retire here, right? Because I've always thought the Undertaker, his true retirement would become, in front of fans. One of the only times I've actually ever cried watching WWE was WrestleMania 33. Because first off, I was mad that Roman beat Taker, because that was at the climax, the peak of when I hated Roman, because I hated the way as a babyface he was stuffed down our throats. But seeing the Undertaker fold his clothes, his robe, his hat, his gloves, leaving it in the middle of the ring, and then kissing Michelle McCool, his wife, on camera, breaking character, and then, walking up the steps, doing the fist, and then, just descending. And that's the way WrestleMania ended, with the Undertaker's music being played. I thought that was the farewell to the Undertaker. And I would have had no problem if he never came back after that. No problem. But he came back. He came back for matches with John Cena. Came back for matches with Goldberg. Matches with the Wyatt family. Matches with Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Came back again and again and again because his love for this business is unreal. I don't know if there's ever been a man that's loved WWE like The Undertaker. Never. And he put on, in my opinion, the greatest WrestleMania match of all time with Shawn Michaels. I've watched that match so many times. So many times. I watch that match at least around 3 or 4 times a year because it's so good. I never get tired of seeing it. Never getting tired of seeing it, bro. And I love The Undertaker. I appreciate him for everything he's done for the business. For real. And I had a hard time believing that Undertaker was really going to retire tonight. Because you look at it, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. If WWE has a Hall of Fame induction ceremony this year, which we don't know, but we know that they're planning on having a WrestleMania inside Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. You know, if they are doing the Hall of Fame with fans this year, I would have The Undertaker part of that class. I would. I would do the same class with Batista and the Bellatons and whatever. I would just have The Undertaker on there because he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame as soon as possible. He does. He is that fantastic. I just had a hard time believing that they would do a Undertaker Farewell, you know, inside a Thunderdome with no fans. It just made me hard to believe. And still, even now, on the review, thinking about it, I still, there's a sliver of doubt. Just a sliver of doubt that Undertaker might not be done. You know? There's no reason for him to wrestle again. He doesn't have to. It's just, I feel like they would have saved his send-off for a live audience. Really. But for right now, at least, it looks like The Undertaker is indeed done. And he is finally finished. So, they had Jeff Hardy, JBL, Kevin Nash, Rikishi, Big Show, Shane McMahon, The Godwins, The Godfather, Samuel Vega, Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Ric Flair, Triple H, and Kane. All hit the ring. I don't know why they were there because, they showed a video package right after and they were all gone. They were all gone. I was like, what's the point? Well, they didn't do anything. At least when Ric Flair retired back in 2008, they had all these legends and superstars on the entrance ramp. I thought they would do something like that for The Undertaker because of how much he's done for the business. But no, they legit had these superstars come out, sit there, and then they were gone. They were gone by the time The Undertaker came out to do his entrance. I was like, what a waste. No wonder why they didn't have a Stone Cold Steve Austin or a Bret Hart there. I was like, come on, man. They actually had Kane come out with his full ring attire. I was like, wow. I was like, really? That's what we're doing? And it took 10 minutes for most of these legends to come out anyway. Just because most of them are old and, they can't walk as fast anymore. And I'm just like, really? That's what we're doing? That's what we're doing? So I didn't really get that. But, all those legends came out to the ring. Then they had a video package. That went through Undertaker's career. So then we come back and we had Vince McMahon, right? Vince McMahon making a rare television appearance. And I knew he was going to be there for this. It's The Undertaker. It's his greatest creation. Easily. Undertaker, I will say this. It's hard to debate if Undertaker's the greatest wrestler of all time. It is hard to debate. But I do think it's undisputed. I believe it's undisputed to say that The Undertaker is the greatest wrestling character ever created. He's the greatest character / gimmick ever created. He is Vince's greatest creation outside of WrestleMania. Right? And you knew Vince. If you watched The Last Ride, you saw Vince crying during the documentary. He couldn't even say what The Undertaker meant to him live on camera. He told them to stop rolling, to cut it out. And it's just wild, man. You knew Vince was going to be there. And as much as I hate Vince, I got to respect him. I got to give him props because he did create one of the greatest characters of all time with The Undertaker. So Vince sat there in the center of the ring. He had a somber look on his face. He reflected on Undertaker's career. And then he introduced his greatest creation of all time. The Undertaker, man, the visual looked great. They really used the Thunderdome to its peak tonight. They had the graphics, they had the lasers, they had everything. The pyro, everything set up for The Undertaker, man. The visuals of this looked absolutely spectacular. I wish I was an employee sitting in that arena getting the look. I wonder what it was like for people like Michael Cole and Corey Graves who sat on commentary and getting the look at this live. It looked absolutely spectacular. I love the visual. And I hope that, when we get the behind the scenes of Survivor Series like they do for every pay-per-view each month, hopefully we get a behind the scenes here with The Undertaker, man. Because those visuals tonight looked beautiful. I had my lights off while this was going on. It looks so amazing on TV. Amazing visuals. They had the Undertaker logo. They had the smoke, the pyro, the graphics, the lasers. Oh, man. Undertaker had a very, very slow walk to the ring. I thought Taker would come out as American Badass Taker, the same Taker we saw from WrestleMania when he went up against AJ Styles, because it's a like perfect combination of both the Undertaker and Mark Calloway, but we didn't get that. Undertaker had a very slow walk to the ring. He got into the ring, and he got on this platform. They had a riser. It was a mistake by the camera crew to show the riser, but when Undertaker, he was legit rising into the ring. They went all out, and he deserves it because he is one of the all-time greats, the greatest wrestling character ever created. So he gets into the ring, and then they had these graphics behind, usually where the Thunderdome screens are, right? They had these beautiful graphics of like tombstones and graveyards because they represent the Undertaker, of course. So I love the way this all looked. So Undertaker, man, it took him forever to speak, right? Because, he was really soaking in the moment. They had the thank you Taker chants and all this. And even though you knew it was piped in, it looked like the stuff piped in from a WWE video game. I didn't mind it here because you didn't want this to be silent. You didn't want this to be silent here, bro. But I liked what we saw here. Undertaker, when he finally talked, he didn't say much. He did not say much. But it was a very brief promo. He said that 30 years ago, The Undertaker was born at Survivor Series, and now 30 years later, it was time for The Undertaker to rest in peace. All right. He said that for many years, he made that slow walk down to the ring and defeated many souls, and it was now time for him to take his leave. So, if The Undertaker's going to go with a whole Hall of Fame speech, right, they're going to save it for the Hall of Fame. Hopefully when he comes out as Mark Calloway. But here he came out as The Undertaker, and we know The Undertaker has never been a guy to cut long promos. So this was very short and to the point. But afterwards, he was really trying to soak in that moment, and then he knelt down. And what the part that got me emotional is they had a hologram show up of Paul Bearer. A hologram showed up of Paul Bearer, and man, Paul Bearer's watching in heaven, and he's proud of his friend Mark Calloway. So after that, he really soaked in the moment. They played his music. He walked out very, very slowly, and then he did the final fist in the air, and then to show the respect he has for the fans. And the show went off the air with Undertaker returning backstage for the final time. For right now, it looks like The Undertaker is retired. He is done, and he doesn't need to wrestle again. Like I said, the only surprise here is I thought they would save something like this for when The Undertaker, when The Undertaker could be in front of live fans, when things would get back to normal. But if this is the end, thank you, Undertaker, for everything. You are one of the all-time greats. Easily. There's nothing else to say. He's the greatest wrestling character ever created. Ever created. Man. I know there's a lot of people thinking that they're going to have The Fiend attack The Undertaker, and that would set up something at WrestleMania with The Undertaker, and that would finally be his final moment. But no, I guess not. And I'm not saying this is the last time we'll ever see The Undertaker on TV again. No, we will see The Undertaker on TV again. Trust me. I'm willing to bet when we have, an anniversary special for Monday Night Raw or something like that, The Undertaker can make an appearance, deliver a chokeslam or a tombstone pile driver. I'm just saying we're never going to see The Undertaker in the ring again. That's done. That is done. All right, but the way they did it tonight, it was great. The visuals were fantastic. The only question I have is why didn't they save this moment for when they had live crowds? Because imagine how crazy it would have been to have the live fans out there, cheering and clapping for Taker. That would have been an emotional moment. And secondly, why did they have all those legends show up just to stand in the ring? They didn't do anything. They just stood in the ring. And that was that. You flew some of these legends away from their homes to come down to Florida, to come down to the Thunderdome for that? Really? But honestly, it's whatever. But at the end of the day, if this is truly the end for The Undertaker, one of the all-time greats, there's really not much to say. Everything that has been said, has already been said. So it is what, It is what it is. But thank you, Mark Calloway. Thank you to The Undertaker for everything you've done. You are one of the all-time greats, and hopefully retirement does you well, if you truly are retiring, right? But thank you to The Undertaker. All right? But other than that, guys, that is about it. That's everything on the Survivor Series. All right, that is everything on Survivor Series tonight. Like I said, I'll say what I said at the beginning of the podcast. Survivor Series tonight, it wasn't a terrible show, but I can't give it a thumbs up. As great as The Undertaker's Farewell was, as great as Sasha Banks and Asuka was, as great as Roman and Drew McinTyre was, as great as the Street Profits versus the New Day was, I can't give this a thumbs up because this show had no stakes. It didn't feel like a Survivor Series. It just felt like a bunch of champion versus champion, Raw versus SmackDown matches. If you had put some stakes into this match, if you had put some stakes into the show, right, we would have cared a lot more. A lot more. But, it is what it is. If this was any other show with these matches and what we got tonight, I would have gave it a thumbs up. But because it's Survivor Series, I have certain standards. When it's a Big 5 pay-per-view, when it's supposed to be one of the most, important pay-per-views of the year, there's some things I expect. That's just me being honest. But let me know what you guys thought of Survivor Series in the comment section down below. Do you guys think it was a good show? Was it a bad show? Was it in the middle? Let me know. Let's discuss in the comment section. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so very much for joining me tonight on the Legit Suit Podcast. That is it for your Survivor Series review. I will be right back here tomorrow night with the Monday Night Raw review. As always, thank you guys so much. Before you guys leave, do me a favor. Leave a like on the video. It does a lot for me. Leave a like so we can educate more fools in the community, as always. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe if you guys are new. Make sure to hit the bell right next to my name, Fitz TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Let me know what you guys thought of the podcast tonight. I'm always listening to feedback on how we can get better. All right, a lot of cool things coming. Patreon, merch, Discord, so many cool things are coming. So make sure you guys are on the lookout for all that good stuff. Thank you to everyone who followed me on Twitter. Thank you to everyone who live tweeted with me. As always, if you guys want to talk wrestling, anime, all that good stuff, just follow me. My Instagram and my Twitter are in the link down below. Before we leave, thank you to Sal Reacts. Thank you to Sal Reacts. As always, he made the absolute banger of a layout that you guys are seeing right now. He does all the layouts here for us, and as always, he is fantastic. So thank you, Sal Reacts, as always. Thank you to all my subscribers. You guys are amazing, man. I couldn't do this stuff without you guys. Really, for real. If it wasn't for you guys' support, we would not be where we are at now. But I'll be right back here as always with the Monday Night Raw review tomorrow night and SmackDown later in the week. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure to stay safe and healthy, y'all, as we go through these crazy times. All right. See y'all later. God bless. Peace.